Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel and welcome to my kitchen. Tonight we are making a delicious, comforting and healthy Swedish meatballs with mashed potatoes. So right now I'm getting started by prepping my potatoes before I do anything else. And I started with 6 regular size russet potatoes. I began by washing these potatoes and then peeled them, and now I'm cutting them into quarters so that I can easily steam them in my Instapot while I make the meatballs and gravy. I love cooking potatoes in the Instapot over boiling them on the stove. It's such a time saver and it's so easy. What I do is I just quarter my potatoes, add a cup of water to the pot. Then I put the lid on to seal it. Then I just set the Instapot to steam setting, and it automatically sets the timer for 13 minutes, which ends up being perfect for potatoes. And now I'm going to go ahead and chop up my onion. This is one, I think, regular size white or yellow onion will work. And I'm just trying to cut it up as small as I can. And we will be cooking these in the skillet so that we could add them to the meat mixture for the meatballs. Chopping this onion did remind me that I either need a new knife set or I really need to sharpen this set because it took me a lot longer than it should have. And now I'm just going to go ahead and prepare the skillet for the onions by adding in 1 tablespoon of ghee and let it melt down just a tad. And I'm also going to add in 1 tablespoon of minced garlic. And you want to make sure to spread out the ghee so that it coats the skillet nicely, because next we're adding in the diced onions and letting them cook down a bit. Stir the onions around frequently. We want them to cook down to they're about translucent, but not to burn. And once the onions are cooked down completely, we'll go ahead and remove them from the skillet and add them to the meat mixture. The type of meat that I'm using for this recipe is ground sirloin. And next we're going to move into making the meatballs, and pause for a full ingredient list. You can see I already added in my 1/4 cup of almond flour, and now I'll be adding in 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg and 1/4 teaspoon of allspice. This recipe calls for 1/2 teaspoon of salt and 1/8 teaspoon of pepper, but I just eyeballed it. Next is 2 teaspoons of coconut aminos to be added. And 3 tablespoons of unsweetened coconut milk. And lastly, I'm going to add in my 1 egg that has been sitting out to let it come to room temperature. And now for the fun part, you get to mix it all together. And don't forget to wear gloves because, ew. Okay, so next up is the most fun, I think. We are going to form the meatballs, and it's just like playing with Play-Doh. Pretty much you just take a scoop, I eyeball every one, and then you just kind of roll it into a ball shape. And I try to do it with my hands kind of cuffed a little bit so that it creates less of a flat surface and allows for it to be more circular. And then just go around in circles for a couple times. And I just do that until I ran out of meat mixture. Add 1 tablespoon of ghee to the skillet that you used to cook the onions in. And once it melts down, we're going to add all of the meatballs to the skillet. Once I had them arranged in a manner where they weren't touching, then I covered them with tinfoil and let them cook for about 10 minutes. Once the 10 minutes was up, I uncovered and then gently went in with my tongs and flipped the meatballs so that they could cook evenly on both sides. After rotating the meatballs again, we'll begin to prepare the ingredients for the gravy mixture. Please pause for full gravy ingredient list. So I'm going to use full fat unsweetened coconut milk, coconut aminos, minced garlic, tapioca flour, ghee, spiced Dijon mustard, and chicken broth. So with the full fat canned coconut milk, in order to get a nice creamy consistency, you do have to blend it really well. And for this recipe, I just went ahead and used a fork and just whisked the heck out of it. And then it only called for ½ cup coconut milk. I set the rest aside to make chia seed pudding the next day. Now it's time to remove the meatballs from the skillet so that we can continue to make our gravy mixture. And don't forget to loosen up all those burnt bits at the bottom called fond. Those will add great flavor when we make our roux. So adding in 3 tablespoons of ghee to the same skillet that we just took the meatballs off. And once that melts down, we're going to go ahead and add in 1 tablespoon of tapioca flour. And this is our roux. Make sure to mix it well so that you don't get any clumps of tapioca flour in your mixture. And add in your half cup of coconut milk. And if you have a rolling boil like this, turn down the heat because you don't want it to cook too quickly and evaporate all of your coconut milk. And now we're going to add in our coconut aminos, 1 tablespoon worth, and add in 1 3/4 cup of chicken broth. And 1 teaspoon of spicy brown mustard, or in my case, Dijon mustard. This ingredient is optional, but I thought that it gave a wonderful flavor. And again, whisking until you have a nice and creamy consistency. Once your gravy has been cooking for about 2 to 3 minutes, we can add the meatballs to the gravy and let them simmer in all that goodness. Add in the extra 1 teaspoon of tapioca flour, whisk it in to create a nice thick sauce. You'll want to rotate your meatballs so that both sides can soak up the flavors of the gravy mix. Let your meatballs simmer while we move to make our mashed potatoes. Please pause for mashed potato ingredient list. To the mashed potatoes, I'm adding in 2 tablespoons of ghee, 1/2 cup coconut milk, salt to taste, and 2 to 3 tablespoons of nutritional yeast, which gives it a nice kind of cheesy flavor, and then just mash them up. This would be better if I had a hand mixer in here, but it was a Thursday night and I didn't want to dirty extra dishes. Once you have your mashed potatoes to your liking, serve your plate with a bed of mashed potatoes and the meatballs and gravy mixture on top, and it is chef's kiss.
Okay, so we have the finished product. We're gonna try it for the first time. They're good. Yeah, not bad.
Thanks for watching. Have a lovely day.
I could be your music.
You can use it.
Look. Bump dump 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 da da bump dump 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 da da bump 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 bump. I need to